Welcome back. We're do a few things today with this mare. She's a 7-year-old that we own that's been way behind. We got her from a customer that, and we kind of really just went through and restarted her. She's not near as broke as a typical 7-year-old would be, but what I want to do today is we're going to go through the body control. And the first thing I want to talk about, and I break this up into 4 parts: head, neck, shoulders, rib cage, and hip. And I really want to make sure that each one of those parts is really good before I go on to the next part, because they all relate to each other. And if there's a bracy spot in one, it's gonna relate to the other parts. So, and when I do this, I want to be able to do this at a walk, a trot, and a lope in each exercise, and it's got to be very, very solid at the previous gait. So what I'm talking about is, if you're doing it at a walk, it needs to be really good at a walk before you go to a trot. It needs to be really good at a trot before you go to a lope. And you're going to hear me talk about leg positioning, and I'll turn her and show you. There's 3 positions that I use. If I'm going to control anything up front, I'm going to use position 1, and that's turning your toe out and up here by the front cinch. Position 2 is right here in the middle, and position 3 is back here by the back cinch. And that position 3 would be from here back that you would control. So you'll hear me talking about leg position, and so that's what it relates to. So the first thing I want to talk about is the head and neck. These reins need to be tied to the feet, and I do bend my horses like this a lot of times when I get on, just to give them something to do other than walk off. I don't want them just to walk off. I want them to stand still while I'm getting on and think they have to do something before. I don't want to do this so much that I disconnect the reins to their feet, or from their feet, excuse me. I don't want to bend them so much standing still that when I get going, all of a sudden it means nothing and you're heading off somewhere, and if you're trying to bend them to steer them, they just give you their head and they're still going off the same direction. So I'm very big on that rein tied to those feet. And so once I start all this on the ground, and what I mean by that is if I'm walking a circle here, I'm only using one rein, okay? If I'm walking a circle, I'm going to have my inside leg back on position 3 and my front leg up on position 1, but the outside leg's not going to be a real active leg other than to encourage them to go as propulsion. So when I start this, I want to have that inside leg position 3, and I want to pick up, and if I get just a little bend, I'm letting go. Pick up, get a little bend, let go. Pick up, get a little bend, let go. Now when they start getting soft, then I'm going to make them hold it a little longer. Let go. Now I'm going to make her hold it a little longer. Let go. A little longer. Let go. Okay? So you do that over and over and over. I want to be able to be to a point where I don't even have to hardly, once I go one-handed, I don't want to even have to hardly touch these reins, and I put that leg in that position. And I don't have anything on this rein. She's just walking around my leg right now. She's had a little bit of this done. It hasn't been a whole lot. But again, my inside leg is in position 3, my outside leg is in position 1. And I just kind of bend her around here, and I'm constantly giving back. I'm not ever holding her here. If she gives right there, I'm letting go. Right there, I'm letting go. Right there, I'm letting go. If I want to keep her in that type of bend, I'm constantly picking up and releasing when she's soft. If you hold them there, you're giving them something to brace on. And so you'll see in other videos as we go along, I've got a 4-year-old mare that we're starting, and we're going to start some 2-year-olds and stuff and video those, and you'll see in the progression of what we're doing with them that relates to this on the inside leg and one rein. And a lot of people think it's just a one rein stop. It's not just a one rein stop. It's teaching them how to bend and pick their bodies up and step up and around. And so now I'd go back the other way. I'd go into a circle over here and I would scissor my legs the other direction. Inside leg in position 3, outside leg in position 1. And all I'm using is the inside rein. I'm not using both reins. Okay? And as I walk around here, I'm gonna pick her up, let it off. Now I don't keep this leg on the whole time. I want that leg to relate to her body bending and her feet moving, okay? So as soon as she lets off, and I let my hand off and she gives it to me and feels back to me, I'm letting my leg off a little bit too. So I'll put my leg on. See, I never really had to pick her up right there. So now I'm gonna make her hold it a little bit longer because she was so good right there for me. There. And remember, there's little bitty releases here. If you'll watch, that slobber strap picks up and drops, picks up and drops, picks up and drops. This little exercise right here is so beneficial to so many things. It teaches your horse to bend in their body, stand their shoulder up, bend in that rib cage, and if you'll watch that inside back leg, it's stepping up in front of the outside back leg and up in the front foot, outside front foot track. That tells me her body's being bent right there. So that exercise is controlling that front end, or excuse me, head and neck, and you're breaking it free. They're being soft to your hand. You're being able to pick them up. There's no brace. And once you start speeding up, do not hesitate to go back slower down to the gate below them or the previous gate to get it better. If they come apart and they come unraveled at a faster gait, go back down. If you're doing it a trot and they're getting bracy on you, go to a walk and fix it. Go back up. And you just do that as many times as you need to. At some point, they're going to say, hey, I just need to stay here because otherwise they're going to slow me down and get me there anyway. A lot of people will just stay there and wrestle them around until it comes up. But I'm a big advocate. If it's not good at the faster gate, slow down the gate and get it better, because I'll promise you, if it's bad at the faster gate, somewhere in that slower gate, there's something happening that you're not catching. So always be quick to go back. Don't worry about staying at that same gate and fighting and fighting and fighting, because sometimes it's a losing battle. But the one thing to remember is don't disconnect these reins to those feet. And what I mean by that is while I'm walking her around and I pick that rein up, if I take this inside leg off, I want her to follow that rein with her front end. If I take that inside leg off, see, her front end comes across. It's because I've got that rein tied to her feet. Same way over here. If I'm walking her around here and I've got that inside leg on and I got her bent, if I let that inside leg off and not change anything, her front end starts coming around. And so you've got to be sure and get those feet tied to that rein. That's the main goal, but you want to have it in a soft manner. So anyway, we'll come back in a little bit and we'll show you the next exercise. I appreciate you watching.